If you've been struggling to lose weight for good, maybe you gain and then you lose and then you gain and you lose, I have a very simple solution for you that I want to share with you today that helped me lose 45 pounds, and it's very easy to apply. It's not a diet, it's fasting. In this video, I'm going to share the benefits of intermittent fasting with you beyond weight loss, how to apply it to do it successfully, things to consider, and at the end, I'm going to share it with you my story on how it helped me lose weight for good. And if you're new to my channel, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Lex Vuko. I've been in health and fitness industry for 20 years, and I have also struggled with extra weight that I want to summarize here for you and help you lose weight and feel great and be healthy without having to suffer through another diet. And in my next few videos, I'm really focusing on weight loss strategies, mental, emotional well-being. So make sure to hit that subscribe if that is what you're looking for. Okay, so some of the benefits of intermittent fasting besides weight loss that will actually benefit you is the actual fat burn. When we're talking about weight loss, we have to be clear on whether we're just losing pounds of water that we're holding on to or whether we're actually burning the fat in the right way. With intermittent fasting, you are burning the fat. It's also cheap. It's also very easy to do. It requires less prep time because you'll be spending less time in the kitchen and trying to figure out what's for breakfast, what's for lunch, what's for dinner. You will be in a better mood. You will not feel hangry, as we call it, which is hungry and angry. You will actually feel liberated and feel great because your whole world will not revolve only around food. Intermittent fasting also leads to better brain function and better memory. You will have less inflammation in the body, therefore less aches and pains and less chance of any disease developing in your body. You will not feel like a sugar or a food addict. You will not be food dependent, and you will not behave like a sugar junkie, as I call it. You will actually enjoy healthy food more because your taste buds won't be hijacked by highly processed foods and sugars. At this point, if you're eating all the time and if you're eating a lot of processed foods, you cannot even taste what real food tastes like. You'll feel also liberated that if you are somewhere where there's no healthy food or no food that you want to eat, you can just skip that meal instead of suffer through the foods that you don't want to eat, like at a water park or amusement park or anywhere like that I know I found myself with no actual healthy food to eat, which is such a shame. Also, you will not have extra loose skin, or you'll have way less than you would have if you were to diet, because through intermittent fasting, the skin elasticity is what comes back and the skin kind of shrinks back. You will learn to be in tune with your body and you will be able to deliver to it what it needs so that it can take care of you. And you'll also have more energy because you will be giving your digestive system a break, which requires a lot of energy for the body. So while you're fasting, you will free more energy to do other things. Okay, so how to apply intermittent fasting successfully? Well, first, as a woman, we have to address how to fast properly because I used to fast like a man all the time and it actually messed up my thyroid and my hormones. And if you're not tracking your cycle, get an app that's easy for you to use. Track it somehow in your calendar. You just need to know your days. So in this next segment, I'm going to talk about as if a woman's cycle is 28 days. So from the first day of our menstrual cycle, from that day, that's day 1. From that day 1 till about day 10, you can fast as you wish because we're estrogen dominant at that time and estrogen doesn't mind and actually likes fasting. From about day 10 to about day 20, you want to do 10 to 14 hour fasts max. So we're going a little bit gentler. And then day about 20 to about 28, that's when we're progesterone dominant and you do not want to fast at that time. You also want to introduce more carbs at that time. Now, when it comes to actual fasting window, what you always want to remember is slowly shrink your eating window. Keyword slowly. So you want to determine where your breakfast is, your first calories of the day, and then the last ones for the day. And let's say that's 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. All you do is shrink that to like 7:30 and about 9:30. And you stay there till you're comfortable. And then you shrink that to about 8 and about 9, right? So you're slowly shrinking that eating window. And I have more detailed videos on how to do this, so make sure to check out my intermittent fasting playlist for more info on that. So we're shrinking that eating window while paying attention to our schedule. Generally, people are not hungry in the morning, so that may be an easier one for you to kind of push through. And you can drink water, you can drink coffee, you can put coconut oil in your coffee, grass-fed butter, ghee, MCT oil. I'll leave the links for that in the description. And that will help you not break your fast, but still get the calories into your body so you're not starving. Remember, you should never be starving or feeling deprived. So now we're shrinking that window. And then for dinner, basically you want to evaluate when your dinner is, and you want to avoid and eliminate snacks after dinner. But if that's still your habit right now, all you do is shrink that eating window. And the way that I did this is I would ask myself after dinner, is there anything that I would want still to eat afterwards? And if there is, I would have that, whether it's a fruit, a piece of chocolate, whatever it is. And then I'm done till the next morning breakfast. Just please remember, you got to listen to your body through this process, because this is not like, oh, these are the rules of fasting. This is for you to get to know your body and how it works and what it feels. And with that said, I want to repeat, you should not feel restricted, deprived, or starving. Because when we're starving, we just start inhaling that food without really thinking about what we're eating. And you also don't want to be just sitting around waiting for your next meal. And this is why you want to do things gently so that it kind of fits into your lifestyle rather than disrupts your lifestyle. But it is important to consider that schedule. Let's say today I'm eating bigger lunch, but I know that tomorrow I'm going to have a bigger dinner. Maybe I have a dinner event. Well, I'm going to have my lunch, I'm going to have my dinner tonight, but then tomorrow I'm going to want to eat as late as possible without starving, so that then I can have that big dinner and not worry about what I ate. The next thing I want to talk about is how you don't have to count calories. Now, why I don't want you to count calories is, again, something that I've done. And calorie counting can be very obsessive, and it's not effective long term, because it has you focused on how can I cheat my will through this and eat what I want to eat, still being addicted to the food that I shouldn't eat. And I promise you, when you start getting into this, you will enjoy your food even more, because you'll be able to taste every flavor of the food you're eating. Some other things to consider to make your intermittent fasting and weight loss successful. While I said look into your schedule, if possible, eat earlier in the day. So is it possible to have the dinner around 4 p.m.? If it's not, it's okay. You got to go with what works for you. When you're breaking your fast, you want to break it ideally with fats, maybe some protein, but you want to avoid carbs if possible. And this is also going to be a great opportunity for you to start paying attention to what you're eating and then slowly reduce processed carbs while substituting it with better carbs or things that will work for your body. So you want to up your healthy fats, things like grass-fed butter, ghee, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, avocados or avocado oil, olives, eggs, especially the yolk. Egg white is pure protein. Yolk is the one that has healthy fats. Or better yet, quail eggs. High quality bacon with no nitrates or any other additives. Salmon, one of the best fish to eat because it's high in omega-3 fatty acids. Sardines are fantastic for you, and so on. But if none of these are already in your nutrition, that is okay. You can already start shrinking your eating window while slowly starting to substitute pastas for something like veggies and salmon and so on. I also do suggest slowly lowering your carbs. Again, if you're right now eating a lot of processed foods, you want to switch to whole grains and go gluten-free at first. And then you can slowly eliminate even that by adding more veggies and fruits to your nutrition. And if you're someone who has to have bread, like my husband, he cannot live without bread, go with gluten-free sourdough bread. You can make it at home very easily. You can find a bunch of recipes here on YouTube. Now, when it comes to weight loss, this is a game of insulin, because you gain weight because you're spiking up your insulin. So there are foods that will help you speed up your weight loss because they actually keep that blood sugar lower and keep insulin low. Things like lemon, chia seeds, apple cider vinegar, cinnamon, rooibos tea, You can add spices to your food, spices like turmeric and black pepper and cumin and many others that have been around for a really long time that are used in other cultures that will also not only keep your blood sugar low and keep the insulin in check, but it will actually make the food taste even better. A really easy rule to remember to drop the carbs is avoid whites. White pasta, white bread, white sugar. All of the whites should be off limits. Or again, if you're someone who's used to eating them a lot, just slowly reduce them and eliminate eventually. Now, obviously, the problem with sugar nowadays is it's not typically white when you're eating it, but it's hidden in foods, which is why it goes without saying you have to read all of the ingredients. And if you have questions regarding this or regarding artificial sweeteners, please leave them in comments so that way I can address them and I can make more content for you addressing your questions. And if you're someone who's been struggling with weight loss for a while and you know it's not just calories in versus calories out, you know it's deeper than that, you may want to check out the course that I have put together that you can go through at your own pace, but it covers all things mental, emotional, it covers nutrition, how to put it together in a way that's going to work for you. I'll leave the links in the description if that's of interest to you. The next thing you want to do to even speed up your weight loss process even more is adding more movement and or exercise. And the reason I'm calling it differently is because movement can be something as going on a walk or extending the walk that you're already doing, where exercise is a little bit more rigorous kind of activity. Now remember, the key word here is slowly. The diet culture has taught us to do it all at once, do it all until we fail 2 weeks later. And we're not talking about that here. We want to add that exercise slowly if you're not already exercising, because it's going to take you time to figure out should you work out in a fasted state or not. And you can literally start with something like 10 squats or a walk, maybe avoiding elevators and going up the stairs. Or if you're already walking a dog, going on a different route or a little longer walk. But Lex, I want the results like tonight. And you will actually get the results with intermittent fasting faster than anything else. But we're not on a diet here. We want to get out of that mentality. We're not going on a diet and off a diet. We are learning about our body and fasting, and not only how it can aid our weight loss, but make us feel great and then aids in never having to deal with weight issues again. Now, I want to share my story with you so that you know I understand weight. I understand binging. I understand what you're going through. I have gained weight twice in my life, a significant amount of weight, and not coincidentally, this was at the time when I felt my life was the messiest. And it wasn't that it was messiest around me, it was a result of me feeling messy inside in my head, having unresolved traumas and unresolved issues showing up. Now, last time I gained weight was about 10 years ago. After bodybuilding competition, I got into binging. I couldn't control my body. I couldn't control my eating urges, and I really messed up my body. I was about 200 pounds on 5'10", 5'11" height. And as a trainer and someone who's actually in health and fitness, I knew I had to do something about it. I knew that diets don't work. I knew that what fitness taught me, eating 6 small meals a day, didn't work, and I needed another solution. So I looked into fasting and I slowly started shrinking my eating window and again, experimenting, exactly what I'm teaching you. And I slowly started doing that and it felt better and better and better, to a point when I shrunk it to about 4 hours. Still felt great. I felt like I could do it down to 1 hour or 1 meal a day, OMAD, which is what I ended up doing. I dropped the weight, I stopped binging, I started paying attention to the taste of my food, starting adding more flavor. Whenever I would make something, I would ask myself, how can I add more nutrients to this and add to the taste, or not, at least change the taste of food? I noticed that I was more present. I started enjoying that food. I started thinking about different flavors and different spices and experimenting. And I found that whenever I buy something that I like, I look into the ingredients and then I make my own at home. And it just led one thing to another, which in turn led me to develop this protocol that I call the VUCO method. And I use that with all my clients, where we dive deeper into the mental and emotional side of weight loss, because I had to work on the inner things first before I was going to change anything on the outer surface. I started experimenting and making my own recipes, and it just not only fit my lifestyle, but it was easy. It was so easy to implement, and it got me out of the diet culture. It got me out of the fitness small meal culture. It got me to actually get to know my body and know when I need to eat, when I don't need to eat, what I like, what I don't like. It helped me stop binging because I slowly got away from processed foods and I wasn't a sugar or food addict anymore. And this is why I'm here sharing that with you. With this information, this should be enough for you to get started. There are, however, some things that can happen when you first start fasting that can kind of freak you out or make you feel like maybe you're not on the right track. And I have a whole video for that, so make sure to watch that here.